So picture this. It's 2005, you're flipping through the TV guide and then you come across this. Chances are, if you were born in the UK before 1989, you know this theme tune already. And the chances are, if you were born after 1985, you're going to know this theme tune by 2006. Title sequences don't just say something about a TV show, they say something about our culture. Most people in the UK will know the theme tune to EastEnders or Doctor Who or The Inbetweeners, but almost every single person in the Western world can probably sing you the Friends or Simpsons theme tune. So in this world of online streaming and the ability to skip an intro at the click of a button, are TV title sequences still relevant in today's world? Well, we've got just one more year of this. To acknowledge the importance of theme songs, we first have to talk about why they exist. And it comes down to technological limitations. The Lumiere brothers, or the OG twins as they are often called, pissed about with this weird looking phone. And, oh yeah, revolutionised cinema. Anyway, cinema starts to get good and people, namely this guy, and the OGs, all get to thinking, hey, how am I going to make a story when people can't do talking in the silent film era? So they start using title cards for dialogue and to move the narrative forward. The cinema becomes its very own form of art, actors and directors start being recognised, and other people want to be recognised for their work. So the film credits are born. I mean, surely everyone's had one of those moments where you're watching the beginning of a film and go, oh, I didn't know Shia LaBeouf was in this movie. But this video isn't about movie title sequences. Though they can be interesting themselves, no, what we want to talk about is the smaller screen. Us Brits got colour TV nearly 20 years after our American cousins. Fun fact, some programmes were actually shot in colour well before the UK public had access to colour broadcasting, just so that they could sell it to countries like the US. In the 1960s, the TV starts to become part of the living room landscape, and with there only being 3 channels, competition isn't as vast as today, but it is fierce. Now, the Yanks have colour TV already, as I mentioned, but they have less public service broadcasting and more public capitalism broadcasting. So, we in the UK have a lot less product placement in our early title sequences, and instead just more efforts to create something interesting with the technology available. So, sorry about the waffle, but it's important, I think, to understand the history of why we have title sequences in order to understand why we might not have them in 20 years or even less. Because many are so iconic, it's doubtful that they'll disappear forever. And with the amount of effort going into titles like the Game of Thrones opening or Marvel's Daredevil, it's even harder to believe that titles could be a thing of the past. But if you're an average person, you've probably realised that there has been an enormous shift away from live TV and towards streaming services like Netflix or Amazon Prime over the years. And I mention Netflix because they are almost definitely the biggest player in the game, and yet they simultaneously help to fund the likes of Daredevil or Stranger Things, some of the best title sequences in the modern day, whilst also having a little skip intro button in the corner of the screen. If effort is being made to allow the viewer to skip an intro, then that likely means that people are clicking that button. Whether it's running to the 30-second mark or the 3-minute one, if you're watching 10 plus episodes of something in a day, you might get sick of hearing the animals, da 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 da. But at the same time, it's hard to deny that title sequences have been a fundamental part of television for a very long time. And of course, it doesn't just come down to visuals. The music is just as important. When I think of some of my favourite shows, the ones with recognisable opening sequences and music stand out to me. On top of that, it can add a layer of narrative when done cleverly. BoJack Horseman is particularly good at this, though still plagued by the skip intro button. This is something that people in the actual industry recognise. Richard Kenworthy, who designed the Netflix series Glow's titles, said, "They know what they're doing at Netflix," as I established in my previous point, and there's nothing to gain from putting it on every show. After it was decided to only use the show's neon titles in its opening episode. He goes on to say, "Maybe you can envision a fascist state where people are forced to watch the title sequence, but I don't know what that would achieve." Culture is also an important factor into a title sequence though. This is most evident in comedy. There's something clearly different between the opening to Peep Show and the opening to The Big Bang Theory. Peep Show's opening is dull, even with Harvey Danger roaring over the top of it after Series 2. And it's still somewhat comedic and shows the deadpan style British comedy is famous for. Now, compare that to the over-the-top animated opening to The Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga.
Even better than that, just look at the difference between the UK version of Shameless to its American successor, and you get a pretty good idea how different their style is. I haven't just pulled this out of thin air. Whilst mentioned shows are utilising well put together introductions, other Netflix shows like Maniac, Glow or Riverdale are shows with immense success reduced to just a title card. This still enables them to split up the narrative, sure, but I can't help but feel like a bit of artistry is being denied when you get rid of a title sequence. A good show sets its own tone, but if I go back to that 2005 Doctor Who theme, I know what I'm in for. That theme in particular is an iconic part of my childhood as well as British culture, and yet with each new rendition, it's clear what kind of new era is coming ahead of it. So, in this new age of TV, are we ready to say goodbye to one of its oldest conventions? It surprised me when I wanted to make this video to find out how little information on title sequences is actually available. But if you are interested in knowing more about title sequences, then go over to artofthetitle.com, I'll link it below. It's a great website with info on thousands of title sequences, and no, this is not a sponsor. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you skipped the intros. Let me know what your favourite intros are, or how the majority of this video just felt like an intro. Internet wisely, and adios.